now. I'm Super Viber T302.
I'm How to Cantaloupe.
Okay, so we'll just redo our commentary from last time. Sorry about that. Hopefully it should be better now. All right, I'm ready for a countdown whenever you are.
We're good to go. It looks much better, so just go for it.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so first things first, let's talk about kind of how this game works. We got about 2.5 minutes of intro here, so let's talk about what you need to do in order to beat this game as fast as possible, because this is any percent. So how this game works is pretty similar to Super Mario 64, in which you need a certain amount of stars to beat the game. In this case, it's 70. There's actually no way to beat the game with fewer than 70 stars, so what this category is essentially you beat the game. You collect 70 stars to unlock Bowser's Galaxy Generator, and from there you also get a star. So that category is called 7. So this category could also be called 71 star. And that's kind of why it's so long. But there's so many quirky tricks in this game, and it's gonna be a fun ride. We're gonna have lots of fun. Like, we got our very first trick of the run coming up right here. Let's see if I get it. I got it. So in Galaxy 2, there's a mechanic where if you fall into a slope with a super high amount of speed, you can basically get a nice little jump off of it and get a lot of boost from it. Unlike Galaxy 1, though, you actually can't climb up slopes, so that's a bit of a disadvantage. We got a little cutscene here. I am going to take this time to actually explain one thing that is going to be relevant throughout this run. So basically, every time I land from a launch star, which is going to be a lot in this run, I'm going to be doing something called a landing animation cancel. And how it works is I enter first person mode as soon as I land and then exit it immediately. And it saves like a second each time I do it throughout the run, and it just adds up. All right, so we explained this before, I got to explain it again. And there's a text box skip coming up that I'm actually not really going to go for, so Cantaloupe, you're the mastermind behind it. Go ahead and explain it.
Okay, I'll explain it again. On one of the pages, when the Lumas are talking to you, there are supposed to be 4 text boxes. If you delay yourself on the first 2, and then get the third one on the first possible frame, it skips the 4th one and saves like half a second.
I didn't go for it. It's frame perfect in 60 frames per second, so I don't really bother with it. So now we're off to the first galaxy of the game to get the first star, unlike Galaxy 1. And we got a lot of text right off the bat here, so first of all, you can skim through text quickly like this just by holding A, simple enough, and first skip of the run. And if I stand still now, after this cutscene ends, it actually ends half a second earlier because I stood still. So this is a strat coming up here that was found by JDA7. It's actually pretty recent. I'm going to turn the camera to the left here, and basically that's going to activate some moving platforms later on in the stage. And it's going to cause them to move further into their cycles, which means I can just long jump to this one, and now I can long jump all the way over to the platform with the Comet Medal. I got it. It saves like a second or two over doing the traditional Luma bounce strat that used to be done, so it's pretty nice. It's a lot easier. And now we're going to do Pee-wee Piranha. This is the first boss fight of the game, so what you're intended to do here is spin at Pee-wee's shell 2 or 3 times, but instead, we're just going to ground pound it once, and that shatters the entire thing. Okay. So that first hit's actually really hard to get because Pee-wee runs away really quickly, so usually I try to stun him with star bits. And the second hit's free. Alright. That ended up working out alright. And there is our first star of the run of 71. So there's going to be a lot of downtime in between stars, and so that's one thing I want to point out right off the bat. So those are usually good times for donations. One thing I do want to mention, though, is that in the lower right-hand corner, you can see a sort of little IL time, and that's the really good thing to keep track of if you ever decide you want to grind levels if you're practicing or whatever. So now we've got a bunch of text here.
All right, sure, we can get a few donations in. Let's see, we have a anonymous $5 donation. It's awesome to see how quick this was organized. Helping beyond borders is always a great thing, in my opinion. So take my $5. Greetings from Hamburg, Germany. We also have a $50 donation from Rachel Guy 72. It says, as a Texan, I love to see how much of the country is coming to help. If my awesome boyfriend hadn't introduced me to GDQ, I wouldn't have ever known about this amazing organization. Thank you, B.
Okay, so I'm gonna do something minor that you might not notice right away. Once these text boxes are over, I'm actually gonna hold down, which is gonna cause Mario to face away from the helm and thus allow me to backflip to it, which is, for the most part, the fastest way to return the helm whenever you're just on the front of the starship. By the way, this is Starship Mario. This is sort of the hub world of the game, if you must. We're not really going to do a whole lot of exploring here, obviously, since the only way to really progress in the game is to just go to the helm and go to this Super Mario Bros. 3-esque world map style overworld. This game is a bit more linear with its world map system than Galaxy 1 is, but it also is a little less limited to what stars you're free to do. Like, there's only, counting boss levels, there's only 10 stars you're required to do in order to beat the game. Anyways, also on these star select screens, I'm able to select these clear stars right away just by pointing my Wii cursor off screen and then mashing A. That only works for clear stars. For stars that are yellow or whatever, I have to actually point at the screen and then select them. Anyways, here's Sky Station 2, which is not nearly really as much of a visually impressive level as Sky Station 1 is, but it still has some cool things. Alright, so I got that. That chomp can be rather annoying if you miss it. Unfortunately, the stand still for Launch Star's trick doesn't actually really work with any Launch Star other than that one in Sky Station 1. So this second planet, pretty much everything has to go exactly right, or else I'm gonna be on a completely different elevator cycle than I normally am. Yeah, we're already off to a bad start. Alright, so you can actually skip that one-up if you do the wall jump properly, but it's highly likely that I would have grabbed some other one-up later on in the run anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't have actually skipped the text.
Yeah, you're guaranteed to get the one-up in the World 2 Bowser stage.
And if not, then you're likely to get it in Flip Swap 1. Here's our first instance of Cosmic Clones. These guys, a bit of a pain in some stars later on in the run. Not necessarily here, but they basically copy your every move and make backtracking nearly impossible in some situations. So just don't ever end up in a situation where you would get caught. This last planet, for the most part, is pretty self-explanatory. So while I'll use this time to kind of explain something else. Earlier, I mentioned you can use a first-person mode to cancel landing animation. There's actually a second way you can do it. That's really only useful at the start of stars because you can't move the camera for them. You basically have to jump on a very specific frame when you land. But I'm going to be going for this at the start of almost. Okay, I'm having controller issues. Sorry about that. Having some controller issues there. Okay, so just pretend that didn't happen, okay? Alright. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. So now Lubba's gonna mention, by the way, this purple Luma's Lubba. He's gonna mention co-op mode, which is kind of an option for something you could do in the Galaxy games. Basically, what co-op mode allows you to do in Galaxy 2 is essentially you can stun enemies, you can hold coins, you can kill enemies from afar, you can hit levers from afar, you can do that kind of stuff. In Galaxy 1, it's a little bit more useful, but I'm choosing to only do 1P for the sake of this run. Alright, so now we're off to Yoshi Star Galaxy. Yoshi is by far the most broken thing in this game. You'll see why here in a sec. So with Yoshi, there's a little glitch you can do called infinite fluttering, which I'm going to try to demonstrate here. And there's also a skip I'm going to try to do with it. That's a little finicky and kind of difficult. Alright, I got it. So that's actually one of the harder infinite flutter skips to pull off, so thankfully I was able to pull it off. How infinite fluttering works is normally Yoshi cannot flutter directly after doing another flutter because there's a bit of a cooldown time in between. But by crouching during a flutter, you not only cancel the flutter, but also the cooldown, and so you can immediately start fluttering again. And it's useful for both going pretty large distances, and also, as you can see here, it's useful for gaining height. Typically, when you're infinite fluttering, the angle you want to be holding is slightly backwards and also in the direction of Yoshi's back. I mean, slightly sideways in the direction of Yoshi's back, because that gives you the most momentum. Although if you're in the air for longer than 10 seconds, Yoshi will automatically lose almost all of that speed. And so you have to be careful with that. Is there anything else you think I'm missing, Cantaloupe?
Oh, I just want to mention, like, that's the reason he jumped off Yoshi on that big flutter at the start. Because if you stay on Yoshi just a little bit longer, you'll lose all your momentum because you've been in the air too long. So he has to jump off. By the way,
whenever I drop Yoshi in a pit, he doesn't actually die. He transforms into an egg once he reaches the death barrier and then just respawns somewhere else. So no need to freak out about that. Okay. And that flutter in particular that I did was also finicky because I have to bounce off the berry. But when Yoshi touches a fruit, normally he automatically eats it. So I have to time a B press so that Yoshi would stick his tongue out right before he landed on the fruit and therefore could eat it and could bounce on it. Anyways, Yoshi Star 2, there's a couple of different planets you're normally supposed to go through, but screw that. I don't want to do that. So instead, I'm just going to infinite flutter straight to the boss from the beginning of the level. Like that. Pretty easy. Although the camera change midway through can easily throw you off. Most of the infinite flutters in this game are just about learning what angles you're supposed to be holding. So this boss battle, for the most part, is pretty self-explanatory. There's a couple of things I can do to speed it up. Alright, so this is a funny little glitch you can do here. By uncrouching and spinning on, I think it's the same frame, you can get Yoshi in this kind of that sliding state. It's completely useless, but it just looks cool. So what I did there was I hit both of the Spinies once with Yoshi's tongue, and then threw the first one at Giga like Pichu, and then got the second one in his mouth right away. So I can shoot this one out right away without having to wait for another Spiny. And just like that, the fight's over. Got time for some donations if you have any.
Oh, we do. We have a $300 donation from Caitlin. No comment, but it's greatly appreciated. We have a $133.33 donation from Bill the Heel. Says, for a good cause and to name Robo after a great guy. Cheers, Bill the Heel. We have $150 from Jason. I love that you guys are doing this, so I wanted to donate during one of my favorite games on the Wii.
It's one of my favorites too. Anyway, so here now we're off to Spin Dig Galaxy. This galaxy introduces the first of Mario's real power-ups to us, and that is the spin drill. Using the spin drill, Mario can kind of dig through planets. But the thing is, because Mario can jump, we don't necessarily need the spin drill for this entire star. For instance, here you're supposed to use the spin drill to dig through one side of the planet and end up on the other. But a triple jump will also suffice. And now on this next planet, I'm going to use a homing ground pound, which is a spin followed immediately by a ground pound, which homes in onto the nearest item, enemy, or NPC. In this case, I'm going to do it on the spin drill, and it kind of gives me a little bit of backwards momentum for that bounce.
This star also has one of the funniest skips in the game, in my opinion. There's Captain Toad and he wants to talk to you. We're just going to shoot him instead.
Yeah, that's why I have star bits in my inventory. You might be wondering why I choose, for the most part, to avoid star bits or shoot them out when I have any, and that's because after each star, there's actually text boxes that show up that waste about 1 second each if you have coins or text or star bits in your inventory. Coins are a little harder to avoid than star bits since you can't really shoot them out unless you die, but no one wants to die in a speedrun. So, we're going to be trying to have 0 star bits whenever possible. Now you might be wondering, well, where am I going to get all my star bits from for the run? You'll find out. Anyways, I don't want to listen to your crap. Poor Toad. No one likes him. Right, so here is Dig a Leg. This is the first... This game doesn't have too much RNG in it, but this is one of the few sections where there is actually RNG. After this first hit, I'm going to press myself up against Dig a Leg, and he can either jump on top of me or away from me, and I want him to jump on top of me. Like this. And the reason why is because he'll move to the other side of the battlefield and immediately become vulnerable. I also want to keep those yellow Diggas alive, because then he won't spawn anymore, and it makes the fight go by significantly faster. Okay. So, I'll just get him to jump on me here. So I'm going to stand to the side a little bit here, because otherwise Dig a Leg would spawn more Diggas. Whereas if I just stood over there, he'd only spawn 2. And instead of walking around to the star like the developers intended for us to do, we're just going to dig to it. Like that. If I didn't say this earlier, this game actually does have a lot of downtime. There's usually about at least 30 seconds to a minute in between stars. So I actually think this category might actually be more downtime than it is gameplay, but the gameplay makes up for it, in my opinion. That being said, if you've got other stuff you want to read, you can do so for a little bit.
Sure. We have $20 from Johnny V. I have a friend down in Houston, so I appreciate this event. I will donate another $20 if the announcer reads this out loud and says hi to my Houston friend, Zach. Hi, Zach.
I know I'm not the announcer, but hi, Zach, also.
Chat, if you all can give Zach a shout out, that'd be great.
Alright, so this is right side down 1. I like to say this is the star Nintendo meant for you to break, because there's a lot of skips in this level, and so many of them are just so obvious, and so... It's like Nintendo placed objects for you to break this level. And, let's see why here in a sec. First, we got this cool backflip. Stylish, ain't it? So you're supposed to hit that gravity switch there to change the direction of gravity, but there's a conveniently placed item block right there that allows us to just skip that. Another little slow twist right there. And there's another gravity switch the game wants you to hit here, but these elevators, conveniently, are placed right next to where we need to jump down to. It's so amazing how everything works out, isn't it? So now I'm going to get Fire Mario here, and I'm going to do a kind of cool little thing with them, where if you stand in place and mash Z while you're spinning the Wii remote to throw fireballs, you actually can create fireballs at a much higher rate. And it kind of allows you to break those boxes a little quicker. Now we got another little skip up here. Where you just jump on top of the side of this area. And just fall into the section with gravity and get the star. And if I recall, there are actually 4 one-ups in the corners of that platform, so that skip kind of is intentional, if you think about it. So now we're going back to do the secret star, or as this game calls it, the hidden star. And I was able to skip the cutscenes because I've already seen them. So here I'm going to kind of go for a cool little momentum jump. I kind of didn't get it, but basically as soon as you land from that flower, if you hold neutral and then jump right away, you actually are able to get a pretty high jump usually, and you can use that to skip the wall jump, but it's very rare that I get that. I pretty much don't get it anymore. By the way, I'm bad at this box minigame. I'm not afraid to admit that, so I'm aiming for like a 12 on the clock here, but I'm probably going to get like an 11 or worse. Yeah. So one thing you need to keep in mind when throwing fireballs like that is that they actually come out of Mario's right hand, not his center. So it can be pretty hard to kind of determine where exactly Mario's throwing them. Got time for any more readings?
Oh yeah, we do. We have $10 from Atheum. Love from Vancouver, Canada. Gamers are always here to help, and I'm proud to be part of such an incredible community. We have an anonymous $250 donation. Happy to support those affected in Houston. Thanks for putting on the event, GDQ.
Okay, so here is Fluffy Bluff Galaxy. We're introduced to the Cloud Flower in this galaxy. Cloud Mario has its own set of broken physics. A lot of power-ups in the Galaxy games do, as a matter of fact. But we'll get to that when we get to that. For now, we need to collect 100 coins so we can feed a hungry Luma. If that doesn't sound exciting, you'll be pleased to know that the coins are kind of in 2 different locations. Okay, so here's kind of a cool thing only I go for. I long jump into that cloud power-up, but because of the text box, Mario turns to face the camera. It's kind of funny. Also, I like to grab star bits right before entering the pipe. The delay when they show up. So I like to get 60 coming out of this coin room because the remaining 40 are up on top of a cloud. This is actually the first coin Luma you can encounter in the game, but it requires the most coins. Kind of ironic in my opinion. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact that this game has incredible music like the song you're hearing right now. Definitely one of the highlights of playing a Galaxy game, is you get to listen to the music. Now hopefully I'll be able to climb this tower very quickly. So there were a couple things I was taking advantage of there as I was climbing that tower. For one, I was doing cloud canceling, where as soon as I make a cloud, I crouch, and that kind of cancels the cloud making animation and basically allows you to move quicker. And that also allows me to take advantage of the cloud's upward bounce, which, when a moving platform is underneath Mario and Mario jumps, its momentum gets applied to Mario's jump. So for example, if it's moving upwards, then Mario's jump gets a lot more height. And that's going to be abused a few times throughout this run as well. But enough of that. Now we're going to do Fluffy Bluff 1, which has a pretty big skip in it. It's pretty easy too. But getting on top of this tree sucks. Thankfully, it didn't cause me too many issues. It's easier with a triple jump, but I prefer to do it with a backflip. So you can just use a couple of well-placed clouds here and go all the way to the end of the level. Oh, I did not mean to touch that water. So right now I'm doing a technique called cloud boosting, where once I basically make a cloud by spinning and then do a long jump, and because of the upwards momentum physics, you can basically get a lot more height and distance out of that long jump. And that's our friend the chimp. We'll be seeing him a couple more times later on in this run. Another thing that was happening as I was doing that skip was, as I was long jumping over that pit as Cloud Mario, you might have noticed it, but I was actually gaining speed. I don't know why that is. I guess because Mario's more floaty.
Yeah, it's a weird mechanic. I think Yoshi Fan called it extended long jumps. If you're over a void and you long jump from the middle of a cloud, you get a lot more speed at the start.
So now we're off to Bowser Jr.'s Fiery Flotilla. This is the first of each world's boss levels. They alternate between Bowser Jr. and Bowser levels, and this one is arguably the worst of the 6. All because of the boss, Galbagut. No Galaxy Runner likes this boss. I can barely tolerate it. And I actually hate the stage more than I hate the boss, so we'll see how this goes. So this is actually one of the few instances where I don't want to go for a jump cancel because it kind of messes up movement for later on in the stage. Okay, that went well. What I went for there, but I didn't get, was a frame-perfect ground pound, where if you spin and ground pound on the same frame, I don't actually know if it's on the same frame or if you ground pound a frame later, but you basically get a canceled spin and you can ground pound, and it's basically the only way to really ground pound out of a long jump. So this bad boy here is Gobblegut. What you're meant to do is have him burrow his face into the planet, and then you can attack the bellyache bulges as they go through the planet, but you can actually attack them in midair, and this is a boss where you want nothing to go wrong. Ah, I missed the first hit. Thankfully, it's quite easy to back this one up, or so to speak. Alright. That could have gone a little bit better. The second phase is probably harder, though. And for whatever reason, I just didn't turn around right away. Alright. Yeah, you're supposed to turn around at a specific time there, but for whatever reason, I just didn't turn around properly.
Yeah, this game is weird sometimes, where you'll be holding a single direction and Mario will just run around in circles.
This is not going too well. There we go. That could have gone way better. But I get one more chance because I have to fight this guy again in like an hour and a half from now, so... Well, I get one more chance to show off how real men beat Gobblegut. Right. So that's the end of World 1 for now. We will be coming back to it later. And we have to deal with this annoying world cutscene after every single world, apart from World 6, since that's when the run ends. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy it. In the meantime, we've probably got some time for more donations to be read.
All right, we have $20 from Shotgun Ninja. Shotgun Ninja here, donating to every GDQ event since 2011. Since we're trying to save the people of Houston, and technically people are animals, put this towards saving the animals.
I don't believe that's the case. But
That logic doesn't work.
No, they must die.
We have another $20 from Johnny V saying, thanks to everyone for giving such a nice hi to my friend Zach. As promised, here's the $20. Also, Zach says hi back. Hi back, Zach.
Hello. Alright, so now we're off to World 2. The first star here, Puzzle Plank, aside from having really awesome music, is pretty much a straightforward level. There's not really a whole lot that needs to be explained about it. There's a couple of small sequence breaks here and there. Really, when I need to start explaining stuff is on the last planet, which you actually are looking at right now. So if you have anything else you want to read, you can probably get a couple more donations in.
All right, we have a $10 donation from Nova. Relieved to hear my friends in Texas are all fine, but for those who are not, let's do our best to lift them up. Please say a shout out to my friends Shafra, Jet, and Squid down there in the Lone Star State. Hey, all of you in the Lone Star State, Shafra, Jet, and Squid. We have a $15 donation from Greg. Sadly, I've got to work for Labor Day weekend, so I'll be missing most of the event, but I just wanted to put forward a donation anyway. Every little bit counts.
This last planet coming up here is an interesting planet in that the gravity on it is really weird, and when ground pounding these puzzle pieces, it's actually possible to ground pound them more than once with only one stomp, like you just saw. It's kind of unknown how that works, I guess. Like, gravity just kind of affects you weirdly there for some reason. Also, we got a pretty easy mini-boss fight here. Now that boss fight isn't really too challenging as long as you aren't an idiot and jump right into its pincers. And now we have an arbitrary world map sequence. Because, you know, they just kind of want to drag on this game for as long as possible, don't they? Let's hope Super Mario Odyssey isn't like that. This is probably one of the more cooler levels, not only to watch, but also to play, in my opinion. Or I guess the other way around. It's got a lot of tiny little tech to it, I guess. Also, I'm going to be actually collecting star bits during this level because it's impossible to spit out star bits while on Yoshi, so because there's a lot of star bits in this level, I might as well just collect some. This is the only star I'll really be doing that for. Hopefully.
What about Sweet Mystery?
I hopefully won't need to do it for then, because I usually try to You know what? Let's not spoil it right away. So this is the dash pepper. It makes Yoshi go fast, as you can see, and it also lasts between launch stars, unlike most power-ups. So that's why I'm taking the left path here, so I can grab this dash pepper and basically cause the effect to last longer than it normally would. And that's also why here I'm gonna grab this dash pepper a little bit later, just so I can get the effect to last for much longer. These are just kind of some cool jumps you can do. If you jump at the very edge of these ramps, you can get these really high jumps. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really matter if you do them or not. Also, this is the easiest infinite flutter skip in the game, and now that I've said that, I'm probably going to fail it.
Yeah, for this infinite flutter, you actually don't even need to crouch. You can just, like, wait for the flutter cooldown between each flutter and still make it.
So who wants to do that also? Nice. So earlier we mentioned that when you dismount off of Yoshi, you carry all of your momentum. So when you're on Dash Yoshi and you're going up a steep slope and you dismount, you get quite a bit of height. And it's always fun to just launch yourself directly into the star. Got any other donations you feel like reading?
Sure. We have $20 from Chilled Like Ice. When I found out HRDQ was going to happen, I became overwhelmed with emotion. The fact that the community came together so fast and has already raised so much shouldn't surprise me, given how generous GDQ donors tend to be, but alas, it takes my breath away to see such stunning examples of humanitarianism, and it goes to show the power of connectivity to do good for the world. Keep it classy, GDQers.
Okay, so this level is actually kind of interesting because of the way it's routed. So there's a coin Luma in this level that requires 15 coins, and I'm actually going to unlock it, but I'm not going to go to the Hungry Luma planet right away. Instead, I'm actually going to collect the Cosmic Hope 1 star and then just do the Cosmic Hope Secret star by itself. Do you really have an idea why we do that, Cantaloupe?
I think it just works out better for just random routing reasons. I don't know, like an exact reason
because like coming up, we've got a huge line of coins that's going to be right next to a comet medal, and the comet medal is right next to the switch that freezes the lake, and that happens to be right next to the Hungry Luma. So in the end, it does kind of work out, I guess. Also, in this game, unlike Galaxy 1, there's a delay between spins underwater, so that makes them about as fast as just swimming with the shell, which is, you don't have to do nearly as much exercise. And you can also do that. He's gonna go transform into a planet, because apparently becoming fat like that gives you the ability to transform into planets. It's things like this that make you question what really goes on in the Nintendo universe. So now I'm gonna go back and get the secret star, but this is one of the instances where I don't want to auto-select, because if I do, I will accidentally select Cosmic Hope 2, and that's not a star you really want to select, because you can't get to the Hungry Luma planet on Cosmic Hope 2, so I have to not auto-select for that one.
Cosmic Hope 2 skip is one of the hardest skips in the game. Remembering to do it. Also,
yes, that male toad likes to walk around for a really long time. Although depending on what text boxes or what amount of text boxes you get, he'll walk around for a shorter amount of time. It really comes down to what route you're doing. So, head over there now. I'm going to be grabbing some star bits along the way, which I intend to use for later. The nice thing about Galaxy 2 is you don't have to deal with the stupid surface spins that exist in Galaxy 1. And also your arm doesn't hurt terribly after you swim underwater for a minute. So there's a bunny on this planet, and you're intended to hit a switch to freeze the lake and then turn it into ice, and then you skate to the bunny, but I'm gonna try to hit him with star bits and catch him that way. And I got it. That's actually one of the 2 instances in this run where playing in widescreen is actually beneficial. It just makes it a lot easier to hit the bunny with the star bits. And the other is not until the very end of the run. So, yeah. Up next we have Boulder Bowl 1, and I could have technically done this star earlier, but the reason why is because by doing the star as my 15th star, it kind of routes out starship movement in such a way where after getting Boulder Bowl 1, you're supposed to be taken down to the engine room to get Rock Mario in there. But since you get 15 stars out of this, you're taken straight from the engine room to the mail toad to receive a letter, which saves a little bit of time due to movement.
I think I timed it to save, like... actually, I'm not sure. Never mind. I was just thinking
so
I'm not...
This is Boulder Bowl 1.
There's
a pretty bad planet you're able to skip, and you can do it with or without Rock Mario, but you have to do it with Rock Mario for this star because you need to get the Comet Medal here, and doing it with Rock Mario again is a little bit harder. That did not work for some reason. Alright, I got it. I actually have a visual cue for that. There's a certain star that I look for, and once it goes off the top of the screen is when I spin. But yeah, that can be pretty finicky to get the timing down. Sometimes you just kind of have to go by feel. And now we have one of the most awkward bosses in this game, really. At least for me. Not because of the way you attack it, just the way you have to go about killing it, because what I'm going to try to do here is prevent him from doing a rolling attack, which means I've always got to be behind him and never in his line of sight. So close to the line. Basically, I'm rolling behind him, like he's trying to chase you while you're trying to chase him, and it's also very hard to get him without having to do a second rollout, without having to go into Rock Mario a second time. Either that or I'm just bad. Okay, I got it there. And also, if you're wondering, you can cancel out of rock mode early by doing the same inputs as you would for a normal ground pound, so A and Z. Now we're gonna see the little routing time save that I mentioned earlier. So right now I'm in the engine room because I got Boulder Bowl 1. And we have to deal with Lava's witty text for getting Rock Mario. Actually, I don't think he has witty text here. Yeah. And now we go straight up to the mail toad to receive a letter for a star we're not even gonna collect. Waste of time. But now I'm gonna be placed right next to the mail toad. Now this is where I'm gonna get all my star bits from. And these are star bits from another file, but this is allowed as sort of a new game plus rule. And for any percent, I'm going to want approximately 4,850. So about there. And these are the star bits that I'm going to be using to unlock Hungry Luma galaxies. And although unlocking Hungry Luma galaxies does take quite a bit of time, the stars you can get from them are usually really, really fast, and thus makes them totally worth it. Like, the star I'm about to get here is only 16 seconds long if done optimally, and it's not even that hard. And the same thing goes for comet stars. Like, I'm going out of the way to collect comet medals in some areas, but that's just because some of the comets are the fastest stars in the game. And so while we got a minute here, you could probably read 1 or 2 quick donations while we're waiting to get into this level.
All right, we have an anonymous $50 donation. Says, "You guys rock. Thanks for all that you do. Put this towards Reader's Choice." And I'm going to put that towards naming Fusoya in Final Fantasy IV RPG Dead after the RPG Limit Break emote.
Oh, we got time for one more.
All right, we have $50 from Bob. "It's so inspiring that you could organize this event so quickly. Have some cash."
Oh, would you look at that? There's a star. And we're already done. Some minor detail I actually once overlooked when I was getting better at this game that is pretty important is when bouncing off of enemies like that, you typically want to be holding A so that you get a higher bounce off of them. And the same thing actually applies to Mario spins. Whenever you're spinning, holding A will always give you a little bit more height. Although with Mario, it's actually better to spin with the Wii remote, but with Luigi, who I'll talk about more later on, it's actually better to spin with the nunchuck. Now we're off to the first Bowser stage. We've got Bowser's Lava Layer up next. This is one of those stages where there's not really anything major in terms of sequence breaking, but there's just a lot of small things everywhere that just kind of add up over the entire run, and makes this level pretty cool, in my opinion. So, hopefully I get to show off just how impressive this level can be. So for instance, here you're supposed to kill this Magic Koopa to make a pole star appear. I don't want to do that. I'm just gonna long jump into the planet's gravity. Now I'm gonna head over here. And that's not what I meant to do. I meant to grab that, because I'm gonna be doing some lava boosting in a little bit. And I am short on health here, but thankfully there's coins in this next section. So this little trick I'm doing here skips the fight with the Hammer Bro. I actually don't remember if it's a Hammer Bro or not. And there's several different ways you can go about getting this Comet Medal. I choose to go about it this way. Sometimes I can get a nice little ledge grab and that kind of pops me up into the Comet Medal. So coming up is a skip I'm going to be using to skip a couple of auto-scrollers. Candle, do you want to kind of explain how it works?
Yeah, so when you bounce off of lava, and then you land on the ground again, Mario does one little jump, like one little bounce, and then you can move around and jump again at like normal.
Yeah. And I can use that to kind of long jump across the statues.
Yeah, so the first statue he hit, he did the bounce, and then like that state gets conserved through the lava bounces, so when he hits the next statue, he can long jump immediately.
Now we're off to Bowser fights. Bowser fights in this game aren't necessarily as interesting as they are in Galaxy 1. It's basically Bowser slams his fist into the ground after he also slams meteors into the ground, and then you ground pound the meteors into his face, or wherever part of his body it happens to hit. Bowser fights are usually also some good times for donations, unless there's a couple things I'm probably gonna bring up every now and then, but yeah, if you have anything else you want to read, go ahead.
All right, cool. We have $20 from Made of Bricks. "Feels like just yesterday that I heard about this event, and now I'm tuned in. Congrats to all the runners and staff who pulled this event together so quickly. Also, I'm excited to see the return of Beppis in Undertale." We have $10 from Kajink. I know it's not much, but every little bit helps. Awesome job of the GDQ staff and all the runners and commentators for getting this put together in such a short time. Keep up the good work.
Oh. So I was a little worried there because Bowser can punch the meteors and break them. So I wasn't sure if he was going to, and that kind of threw me off for a little bit. Okay, and on this second phase, Bowser's going to do a sort of a fire attack. I actually want to pay attention to where this ends, because that's where Bowser's going to start aiming his next punch. And provided Bowser is in a good spot, which I think he's going to be, I can just have him punch right away. And also, I actually try to be a little bit risky with some of my hits, to where I try to aim them as close to Bowser's body as possible. So I try to get the most optimal hits possible. Missing a hit is about a 15 or 20 second time loss, so I have to be careful of that. But in this fight, it's pretty rare that something bad would seriously happen. You gotta wonder, if Bowser's supposed to be the main villain, why is he so easy? So that is World 2, after we wait for this Grand Star to appear. Because again, gotta drag it on for as long as we can. Alright, we're done with World 2. Next up is World 3. World 3 is a pretty long segment in any percent. It's like, what, half an hour normally? It's not the longest segment by any means, but this is where the game definitely starts to ramp up in terms of difficulty. A lot of the stars become more difficult.
Yeah, during World 3, comets get unlocked. So
Yeah.
During the World 3 segment, you go back to World 1 and 2 to do some of the comets there.
Yeah, once you get 4 stars from World 3, comets are going to start appearing, and I'll go into more detail on those once the comets actually start appearing. And also, once you get 3 stars in World 3, the Ouija will appear, and again, I'll go into some detail on him. And this first star, Cloudy Court 1, is definitely a contender for one of my least favorite stars in any percent. It's not terrible until the very end. And we're going to be seeing a little bit more cloud boosting action here, but also there's these crushers about near the end of the level, and they're on a cycle, and it's possible to get through the crushers and before they shut completely, but failure will either result in you having to wait for a little bit or possibly death. So we're going to see what happens. But for the most part, this beginning of the stage is actually pretty technical and looks pretty cool, in my opinion. Like, for instance, what I'm going to do here. What I did there was I kind of cloud boosted into that cloud power flower, and that kind of allowed me to utilize that cloud plus the cloud I got from the cloud power. You know, get onto this drum for some reason. And that kind of basically meant I used 4 clouds. And you're going to be seeing me do that again later on in the level. Also, that Octoomba, I swear, is the worst enemy known to mankind. Loves to snipe you every chance he gets. You're supposed to ride the current here, but nobody has time for that. Here come the crushers. Let's see if I get the 1 cycle. I got it. There's like a few different setups you can use for that if you want, but I chose to do it in a rather complicated method. You have to get really good height from both of those backflips.
The method I use makes it free, but for some reason no one else does it.
I better learn it then. Okay,
It's
so
like-
this next...
It's like
Go ahead.
everyone has a different method for doing that. It's weird.
Yeah, some people choose to, like, get the cloud in between the wall and then just wall jump off the cloud and get up there. Okay. So, Freezy Flake's Secrets is a points minigame. It's kind of an auto-scorer. The minigame duration is fixed, but I am going to go for as big of a score as I can. So, in chat, if you want to guess the score, guess anywhere between 500 and 900 points, and guess only in multiples of 10. So, anybody here got any predictions for what the score will be?
You don't have to guess over 500. I mean, you could guess that he loses a minigame.
Yeah. But that's not going to happen. Especially not for this star. So, any guesses from Cantaloupe?
720.
I'm gonna go with 990.
Oh, dang. I'm not that good.
Don't disappoint me.
Alright. Oh, by the way, have fun scoring through chat to see who gets it correct.
I'll find the one person who got it right.
Alright, so the patterns of the little gummits, I guess they're called, they're not exactly random, but they can be rotated in 1 of 4 different ways, and that's random. And I happened to go right to where they were going to appear. Alright, we got 830.
I think I saw one that was actually pretty close. There was an 860. Oh god, it's scrolling so fast.
Yeah, I control F for 830, but chat scrolled too far already. They're gone.
Who
Nice.
guessed meme emoticon face? I think that's the winner.
Yeah. I wonder how many people guessed 690. Wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, if you didn't get it that time, you'll have another opportunity later on. Don't worry.
Oh, everyone's guessing 830 now. So many people got it.
You're all so smart.
Alright, so now I'm going to do Freezy Flake 1. After I accidentally click on a space in the world map. And Freezy Flake 1, I'm on a bit of a timer because there's a comet medal in a block of ice that's in, like, and there's a fire flower in, like, the section right before that, and I'm going to try to get to it. Okay, it'll be easier once I show off. There's a comet medal in this block of ice in the next section that I'm going to try to get using just this fire flower. And I'm on a pretty tight schedule here. But I should be good. Usually if I get past that part, it's nothing too bad. You usually have a couple seconds to spare. Yeah, like I had about a second to spare there. So hopefully this guy doesn't freeze me in the eyes. I almost never get that. I almost never get the strat where you, like, long jump and then throw a flame and it hits the Bowser statue.
You know, personally, I'm not even convinced that it's faster because, like, you delay hitting the lava when you do it.
I guess I can see where you're coming from. Time for a spoopy level after we talk to Luigi. Kind of irony if I had to guess. So Luigi is kind of useful in the Galaxy games, at least when compared to Mario. He runs faster and jumps higher than Mario, aside from being really slippery. And at the start of various levels, you can actually talk to him and switch to him for just that star. But I'm never going to do that because it basically wastes more time than it would save. So, the purpose of this run, I'm just going to be using Mario the entire time. I'm never going to play as Luigi. But for the perfect run, which will be after this run, I will be using Luigi. Alright, so Honey Hall's 1. This next section of the level is pretty much cycle-based, but as far as I can tell, it doesn't really matter how fast you go, at least because of the Comet Metal platform.
The Comet Metal platform is like based on when you get to the launch star, and then the other cycles are either global or based on when you get to them.
Yeah, these first 2 are global, but the next 2 are actually based on a certain trigger zone. So as you can see here, I just kind of enter. But we don't have to wait on the platforms for the entire time, of course. I mean, we do have the ability to jump. And as you can see, I arrived just in time for the Comet Metal platform. It is actually possible to be too early for that cycle, if I recall. And we have Yoshi in this section, so guess what we're going to do? A donation or two you could fit in here?
Alright. We have an anonymous $30 donation. Howdy from College Station, Texas. Us being 130 miles inland, we weren't hit too hard by Harvey. This event is amazing, and I felt that I had to do at least a little to help out. Shoutouts to my roommate, who's sleeping right now because he's going to wake up at 5 a.m. to drive down to Houston with his church to help out our fellow Texans. Best of luck to all the runners and to our friends down in Houston.
Right. So the first comment just appeared, as I said earlier. They're still appearing 4 stars from World 3. Comets in this game work differently than they do in Galaxy 1, where they work, in Galaxy 1 they kind of work on cycles. In this game, it's really just a comet will appear in a galaxy if you have the comet medal for that galaxy and have a certain amount of comet medals total. So for instance, Cloudy Court, I already have the comet medal here and I only need 1 comet medal to unlock this one. I will be getting a total of 32 comet medals this run, so I can unlock Gravity Gauntlet's comet. And most of the comet stars, as I said earlier, are really fast. Alright, so I did something kind of cool here, where if you just barely touch the edge of each of those star chips, they're supposed to be cosmic cones that appear after you collect those, but if you just barely touch the edge of the star chips, then they never appear. It doesn't really save time, but it just kind of is a really cool thing to do. And this is a section where you do not want to screw up, otherwise the cosmic clones will cause you trouble.
Yeah, cosmic clones in 2D sections are very difficult to get past. Like, in 3D sections, like, at least you can run around them. But in 2D sections, like, once they're taking up an area, there's no way to get past them again.
Yeah, basically, if you mess up a wall jump there and then get hit by a cosmic clone, you're as good as dead. And I have lost a run to that before. And now the comets are going to kind of start building up in Worlds 1 and 2. Cloudy Court Comet, which I just got, actually unlocks all Shadow Mario comets in the game. Which is sort of interesting. Okay. Anyways, now we're moving on to Tall Trunk. Tall Trunk 1 is personally another one of those really cool stars in any percent that once you know how to pull it off optimally with the optimal strats, it's a very impressive looking level, but it's also hard to do it with those strats. Okay, so for this first planet, you're actually supposed to use Yoshi and the Blimp Fruit to climb up this tree, but that's slow. Yoshi with the Blimp Fruit is super slow, and because Mario is such a skilled acrobat, we can actually just use his various jumps and whatnot to climb up the tree without Yoshi. But don't worry, Yoshi will get his time to shine here in a few seconds. this comet metal grab I'm about to do is pretty awkward because it involves a backwards infinite flutter, and if I mess this up at all, it's going to be pretty bad. All right, I didn't. If you fall too short for the comet metal there, you'll have to basically grab the blimp fruit and get the comet metal, and then it wastes a few seconds. So I'm ditching Yoshi here, not only because it's faster to get up to the launch star, but also because it allows me to immediately be able to do a ground pound at the start of this planet here. And Yoshi will already be ready for me to use. Unfortunately, because infinite fluttering upwards is slow, I am forced to use this flip fruit. Okay, I kind of dropped a little low there. It's kind of hard to grab the next blimp fruit optimally, which is why in cases like this, I'm actually going to be using the nunchuck to cancel the blimp fruit early. So that way I don't have to mess with where the Wii Remote's pointing. And I don't like Yoshi, so I'm going to ditch him for the star. Nobody likes Yoshi. Got a couple of donations you can read now?
Sure. We have $250 from the man with the hex. To everyone, players, viewers, donation readers, and organizers, keep up the fantastic work. We have $20 from Jackson. Hey guys, watching from Australia, and I just wanted to donate and say well done to all the runners and GDQ staff for pulling together this event so quickly. It's for a great cause.
Honey Halls 2, this level, basically a bunch of long jumps. That's kind of the only way you can describe this level. Possibly a single jump here and there, and a couple spins. But pretty much just long jumps. So any more donations are good for this section.
That's pretty much how I would describe the whole game.
I guess.
Super
yeah,
Mario long jumps too. Yeah, we have $25 from Genesis. My heart goes out to the people of Texas. I'm not going to be able to watch much of the stream this weekend, but I wanted to make sure I donated. Money goes to the runner's choice.
I'm generic, so kill the animals.
You heard him, people. We have $100 from Some Call Me Johnny. You guys are amazing for doing this in such a short frame. Put this towards the bonus run of Metal Gear Solid, but if that's already met, then you can put it towards naming Palom Porum. Right.
Any more?
Yeah. We have $100 from Michael. I've been watching replays of the Games Done Quick marathons for years now. Your masterful knowledge and play of games leaves me in awe. I'm impressed that you've been able to set up and host a marathon to benefit those suffering from Harvey on such short notice. This is my first of what I know will be many donations to come. Keep up your awesome play and generous spirit.
Okay, so this Hungry Luma feeding sequence in particular is a rather interesting one because for whatever reason, the last star bit is always shot out late, which is actually pretty beneficial because during Hungry Luma sequences, you are able to move, so I always set up a backflip, and then near the end of the countdown, I'll just start the backflip, and then right after the Galaxy Unlock cutscene finishes, I'll be able to land right on the helm less than a second later. But for some reason, the last star bit just always shoots out later than normal and makes it easier to time the backflip. And Beat Block Galaxy Beat Block 1 in particular is pretty difficult star to pull off optimally. It's very cycle-based because it will alternate between these green and yellow blocks every 8 beats of the song, and getting the optimal cycle is really hard, especially if you don't happen to get the jump cancel. I don't think I've gotten a single jump cancel this run, so I'll get one here. No such luck.
Wait, so you actually go for the jump cancel?
Yeah.
I just don't go for it in this star because it messes stuff up.
Yeah. So I'm pretty far behind now. I'm probably not gonna get the optimal cycle here. So that was like a cycle behind what I'm used to getting, but overall not too bad. Could have gone worse. So now I'm gonna actually head back to Worlds 1 and 2 and get a couple of the Comet Stars and whatnot that I didn't get earlier. Or at least that I just unlocked, I guess you could say. I'm gonna be kind of doing 2 sessions of that for Worlds 1 and 2. So we're gonna leave World 3 and head back to World 1, and we're gonna do Sky Station Comet first. This is a comet where you're on a time limit, and it might seem rather strict at first, but there's clocks throughout the level where you can gain more time as you collect them. And it's basically the first starboat with a couple planets removed. Also, speedrun. Would you look at that? Must point out that Nintendo chose to spell it with a space.
Yep, it's official. We have to spell speedrun as 2 words.
Also, might I just say that this song is beautiful, but sadly you don't get to hear all of it in %. Ever. So Pee-wee Piranha is basically going to go the same as last time. It is possible to kind of get a weird soft lock on this boss. It has something to do with shooting a starbait right before the cutscene activates, I think. Like, okay, I actually got that 2 for 2. That doesn't normally happen. Good Pee-wee Piranha fights. But if you were to soft lock on Sky Station 2, you'd have to exit the level and come back. But if you were to soft lock on Sky Station 1, you basically have to redo the run from scratch.
Yeah, I think if you soft lock, it's not even possible to die. Like, so you literally have to reset.
Or, I mean, in Sky Station Comet, you could run out of time.
Yeah, I'm talking about Sky Station 1.
Yeah. Because Pee-wee Piranha's, its hitbox still exists, but it can't hurt you. Now we're going to do the Yoshi Star Comet, where this star we're going to deal with the Rainbow Power-Up, which allows Mario to start running at an incredibly high speed. But this speed is incredibly hard to maintain, because if you run into a wall or just stop moving at all, or do anything that will kind of disrupt Mario from constantly running, then you will lose all of your speed and have to start over from scratch. So I have to kind of do my best here. And these Spinies are a pain in the neck as well. Okay, not gonna lie, that was kind of embarrassing. Can I get a that's never happened before? Okay, there we go. I just missed a Spiny. This is not good. I am doing is anything but fast. Alright. 3 seconds to my probably unoptimized gold. Rip. But just to clarify, I have died on that star before, so it's not like that's anything new. I've just never flat out... I don't think I've ever flat out missed the ledge before. Well, the reason why those spinies can be annoying on that star is because sometimes you kill a spiny, but it's moving object update if they're not on camera. So if a spiny dies and then goes off camera, the counter doesn't update until it dies on camera. That can lead to some issues. Alright, so now we're going to go to flip swap. This level has a pretty interesting mechanic in it as well that can also be abused, where the blue and red platforms that switch every time you spin can be abused once again to get pretty high jumps. And I call them super jumps. I don't know what other people call them. And then there's 4 of them you could go for, but I'm only going to go for 3 of them because I hate the second one. But it is very easy to die, especially to the first one. First one's about fickle. Woo! Alright, so I got that one out of the way. Yeah, that's where you would normally do the second one, but I don't feel like doing that. That movement that I just did was literally improvisation. I've never actually tried that type of movement before. That was a very clean flip swap.
How can a flip swap be clean when you don't even go for all the super jumps?
Well, for me, that was a clean flip swap, although I lost 0.8 seconds to my gold. Alright, you want to read a donation or two?
Sure. We have $50 from Unsecret Crush, who simply says, I like Yoshi.
Too bad.
You're the man. Too bad. We have an anonymous $20 donation. Hello from Australia. Thanks to all the organizers and runners for putting on this event. Everyone, let's do our best to help those affected by Harvey. And he puts a smiley face. Thank you for your money and your smiley face.
Now we're off to Puzzle Plank comment. This star is actually one of the Shadow Mario stars that you need to get Cloudy Court comment to unlock, but this star also unlocks every purple coin comment in the game. It's kind of weird how that all works out. So that's why we go ahead and get this star now. I missed that coin in my practice run, too. I did not do that. Okay, I did that. Did not do that. I'm gonna play it a little safe here. I'm doing these small jumps because that actually does speed Mario up. Believe it or not. Although, for whatever reason, it doesn't speed you up if you do it with Yoshi. So, Yoshi, it's actually optimal to stay in the air for a shorter amount of time. Whereas for Mario, it actually can benefit you with speed. Okay. So that's why I did those short jumps everywhere. Okay. I really don't want to go for question block flutter.
I mean, you have to go for it once.
Fine, but if I lose a minute to it, it's your fault.
Alright.
Because you're the one who said I should go for it. Okay, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, because you probably don't, I'm off to Bowser Jr.'s Frisson Fleet now, and this level is pretty much broken because of infinite fluttering. The level's pretty much all one height, and you get Yoshi right at the very start. And there's really two different ways you can go about doing the stage, and the method I'm about to attempt is rather difficult and rather annoying. It involves 3 consecutive flutters. The first one isn't too bad, but the last 2 kind of suck, especially the last one. And you get no checkpoints throughout all of this, so if I die, I have to restart back at the beginning of the level. And I'm only going to try this once. Okay, this last flutter. Got it. But I did not get the checkpoint. Okay. You need a very, very specific angle for that last, and you also need to be able to get the right amount of height so that you go underneath the structure, but then you're able to do a dismount once you're past it, and so you can make it onto the platform.
Also, the death plane is very close below that structure, so you can't go too low or you'll just die.
Yeah. Actually really surprised I got that. Okay, so now we're off to Mega Hammer, and Mega Hammer is a pretty tough boss on its own, but it's not terribly bad, actually. So I'm going to try to get an early hit here. Got it. So I don't actually want to get an early hit for these next 2 hits, because I'm actually want to kind of cancel one of his animations. When he was shaking his hammers there, he was actually getting ready to smash them together, which would waste 2 seconds anyways. So now I'm going to do here is lure 3 bullet bills from over here. I'm going to use 2 of them to take out this back weak spot. And then get the 3rd one in Yoshi's mouth, and hopefully I can be able to store it after the cutscene. This sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. And it worked. Okay. Side flip, please. Oh my god. That's not good. So I did not mean to do that. There we go. So yeah, you're supposed to wait for him to do that hammer attack and then shoot him with the bullet bill, but his cockpit's still vulnerable when he's not, even when he's not facing down. So you're able to abuse that. And again, I don't like Yoshi, so I'm just gonna ditch him. I am about a minute ahead of my PB right now. That's cool. I don't exactly know what my PB's World 3 split was, but I know I'm a minute ahead of it because I know it got like a 124 and I just got a, I think it was a 123.16. Any more donations you got? You got a little bit of time.
All right, we have a $500 donation from Chain RXN. It says, thank you all of the runners and organizers. You folks blow my mind with your generosity. Happy to do what I can for the folks in Houston.
World 4, in my opinion, is objectively the worst world. I'm not sure how many people would agree with me. It's full of tricky stars that can easily cost you a whole ton of time if you mess up one little thing. A lot of stars, it's very easy to die if you mess something up.
I definitely agree that it's the hardest world.
Yeah. But a lot of the stars also are pretty cool, so it kind of makes up for it, I guess. Especially this first star, Sweet Mystery. So remember how Fierce and Plate, the last level, had a lot of infinite fluttering you could do. This level is more or less the same. So
This level also has the coolest IL in the game. The
yeah,
IL
because
world
you
record.
can do bounces off the bold berries, and it looks really sick. But I'm not going to be going for any of that. I'm just going to go for some generic infinite flutters. Alright, I finally got a jump cancel. Okay, so I'm gonna have to cut this infinite flutter a little bit short because my angle sucks. I actually choose to change the camera angle for that first infinite flutter just so I can see better. Most people don't. I did not get the checkpoint. That's not very good. Thankfully, this last infinite flutter isn't that hard. I actually used to go for that infinite flutter without even grabbing the bullberry, but now I've decided that that's safer. If you fall during that last infinite flutter without taking the launch star, you actually hit an invisible floor rather than just die. And it takes a very long time to find a ledge to long jump off of so you can fall off and die. So you gotta hope that that doesn't happen, basically. Next up is what Cannibal says, at least what I think he says is one of the hardest levels ever.
Flipsville 1?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
You said something about you didn't really like this level or something. Pretty sure.
Oh yeah, the trick at the end, getting to the boss planet. I think that trick is really hard.
It's not that bad. Ugh, okay, I barely made it up there. So we're just gonna kind of do something a little cool here. Hey, I'm gonna die. Never mind. So I'm gonna get up here, and we're gonna use slope physics to kind of get a nice little slide up there. I could choose to take this momentum to that starstream over there, but why do that when you could go all the way to the boss planet? I got a frame perfect ground pound type. Right now we gotta fight Glamdozer. Which is interesting in the fact that every single part of the boss of its body is vulnerable, not just the target on its back. So I'm actually able to just stand underneath Glamdozer's chin, and once it becomes vulnerable, I can just ground pound, and just like that, it's dead. And there's a start. I just golded that split by less than tenth of a second. Gotta love when that happens. We're gonna be kind of going back and forth between Flipsville and Sweet Mystery for a little bit as we clear out the stars here.
Yeah, one of the things about comets in this game is a comet won't spawn if you've just done a level in that galaxy.
Yeah, so for example,
yeah.
I did Sweet Mystery 1, but the comet didn't immediately spawn, even though I got the comet medal and had the proper amount of comet medals, because I need to have an extra star in between when I get Sweet Mystery 1 and when I unlock the comet. You also have to have all the main stars of a galaxy collected, so any star that isn't a secret star. So for this instance in Flipsville, I need to have this star and Flipsville 1. I'm going to kind of go for I'm gonna try to go for a pretty dumb long jump here at the beginning. That I'm probably gonna die to. But I didn't die to it somehow. So yeah, you basically just skip the spin drill entirely on these first 2 planets. And then in this next room, you have to worry about the cycles. And I'm probably not gonna get the cycle because I'm bad at this jump. Yeah. So I'm gonna be 1 cycle behind for most of this area now. If you want to read a donation, this is a pretty straightforward section.
All right. We have $10 from Bowling with Butter, which is a great name. It says, "Thanks for doing this, guys. I think you set the record for organizing done quick. I'm also really excited to see a Mario Galaxy 2 run, one of my favorite Wii games when I was younger."
Galaxy 2 is better than Galaxy 1 IMO.
It does have Yoshi. We have $10 from Hyper Muteki. "First time donating to a GDQ event. Here's $10 from me. It's awesome of you guys to put this event together on such a quick notice. Putting my money towards the Sonic Advance Knuckles run, because unlike Sonic, he doesn't chuckle."
Good one. Okay, so this star at first glance seems like just one of those purple coin stars. At first glance, it seems boring, but it is actually a very, very annoying star. Yoshi...
It's like secretly the hardest star in the game.
Yeah. Yoshi walks really, really fast, and collecting purple coins while walking fast is pretty difficult, especially when you're trying not to miss any. And not only that, but I also have to be careful. Every time I jump, I need to double tap A so that I do a short flutter so that Yoshi doesn't stay in the air for nearly as long. Also, hi, Luigi. You can probably read some more donations. The star is pretty straightforward aside from the annoyingness.
All right. Excuse me there. We have $30 from Iceburner. It says, "Hang in there, Texas." We have $20 from President Bocelli. "Happy to help those affected by Hurricane Harvey. I'm quite impressed so far with how well this quick stream was organized." We have a $250 donation from player A plus B. No comment, but greatly appreciated. Same goes for the anonymous $50 donation that also did not have a comment.
You never quite understand how annoying this star truly is until you just miss 2 coins in a row and you have to spend an additional 3 seconds going back for them. That wasn't too bad.
Yeah, that was actually like really good. Especially like before right at the end there.
I lost 2.4 seconds to my gold, so I don't know how good that actually was. I probably could have made that like half a cycle earlier with that moving
Probably
platform.
would have been a gold for me.
Kind of upsetting to think about. Kappa. And speaking of annoying stars, I'm actually quite annoyed with this one. It involves motion controls, which are hard to manipulate properly when you most need them. It's cycle-based, and you have to also rely on the spin drill's hitbox, which, for some stupid reason, physics of the Mushroom Kingdom, who knows? Like, your Mario's hitbox just grows when he uses the spin drill to dig. So that's useful for collecting the purple coins here, and you really gotta rely on it. And any slip-up will cause you to miss the cycle here, so I'm gonna kind of be a little quiet here. We need to focus. This first room is by far the hardest, in my opinion. I know I'm gonna try to focus here, but you can probably read some donations now. I won't mind.
All right. We have $25 from the Ender Eye 3. It says 3 meals for $1 donated is incredible. Here's 75 meals for those in need. We have $50 from Mitch. When Sandy hit New Jersey, crews from all over, including Texas, helped us rebuild. I know crews are on their way from New Jersey to help Houston. Thanks, Games Done Quick, for helping out.
I do a slight variation of the normal route there, where I actually wait before I drill into the next room, just because consistency's sake. Very hard to properly get that group of purple coins and then drill without missing one. Okay. So I missed that one purple coin, but overall that went pretty well. Can't really complain about how that went. So now we're done with both Flipsville and Sweet Mystery. So now we can move on to bigger and better things, and I mean bigger and better things, because this level is about bigger things, believe it or not. So, supermassive galaxy, as you can see, everything's big. That's pretty much all you need to know. I'm going to be once again abusing the fact that platforms only move when they're on screen. I'm going to take advantage of that by actually turning the camera at the start here, so that the pipe and the thwomps are off screen, and this adjusts their timings in my favor. Especially for this pipe jump I'm about to go for. Which honestly isn't that hard, but still want to take every precaution available. In the old any percent route, we actually used to do 2 stars from this level, but now we only do 1. And also, conveniently, the Koopas are always lined up, so where once you drill 1, you can just drill all 3 of them without a problem. And once again, I'm going to be turning the camera here. Just kind of get these platforms off screen so that their timings are a little bit more proper for what I'm going to need them for. I just got a 2-second gold. That's nice. It's probably because of the movement I did for the second camera manipulation. I did a different route across those platforms than I normally do. Okay. You can read some more donations if you want.
Alright, something I do want to remind people of is that you can actually get some merch to benefit the charity. If you go to the Yeti, and that's THEYETE.com, collections, HRDQ, you can buy some great stuff there. If you go to fangamer.com/GDQ, you can get a poster and a hat and a tank top, and the great Save or Kill the Animals keychain, which I actually have on me right now. It's pretty great. Money from that goes straight to the charity. So if you want to pick up a nice little reminder of your time watching this great run, then you can pick that up on those websites.
Okay, so Chompworks Galaxy isn't really that entertaining of a galaxy. The stars are reasonably fast enough to be in any percent, I guess, so... This star in particular is mostly just auto-scrollers. There are a couple things you can do to speed it up. One thing I want to point out is that I long jumped into that launch star, which completely prevents a landing stone on this next planet. I don't know how many people knew about that.
I did not know about that.
And also on this planet, I'm going to barely touch the left edge of the seesaw platform and then run over to this hammer. And this allows the seesaw platform to lower just barely enough for the chain chomp to get on it. We didn't used to think that was actually possible, but I think it was Patal discovered that it was. It's either him or Nemi. And this last planet, unfortunately, is auto-scroller pretty much. There's nothing you can really do to speed it up, nor can you make this chomp cycle that this chomp is about to break.
You could make the chomp cycle really easily if you use 2P, because the second player can stop the chomps.
Yeah, you and Valor did a co-op run IL of this level, and you were able to beat my average time for this level by like 12 or 13 seconds. And it's pretty crazy the amount of stuff 2B can help with on this level. Got time to kill, so I'm just going to abuse this button to get some high jumps. I'm probably going to get a sub 2 IL time for this level, which is pretty good for RTA if I recall. Okay, hopefully I land right in the star. Okay, I did. I just golded that level. That's nice. Next star is gonna kind of bring back some bad memories for most people. If you remember the spring mushroom when/if you played Galaxy 1, that's gonna make a comeback here, but thankfully you don't need it for a majority of the star. It's only the last planet. I'm actually gonna be skipping it for the first 2 planets of this next star. You can skip it for the 3rd planet. Oh, can I not do that? You can skip it for the 3rd planet, but it actually loses time to do that rather than just go ahead and use the spring mushroom.
Also, there's a cycle on the last planet in Chomp Arcs 2.
That I'm not going to make because I'm bad.
Yeah, the way cycles work in this game is they only go when they're on screen. And it's on screen in the background when you're on the first planet. So if you get the jump landing cancel on the first planet, it's way easier to make the cycle. It's like nearly impossible if you don't get the landing cancel.
That was some pretty sick movement on that first planet, though. So yeah, that long jump plus triple jump up the edge of the slope that I did there, that's actually pretty specific. Pretty precise to get that down, but also shouts to Pac-Man. I just stole some of his star bits. I don't think I'm gonna make the cycle, but I'm gonna go for it anyways because I'm stupid. Ah, just barely missed it. How much time does it save if you make that cycle?
It's about 5 seconds.
Not too bad. Thankfully, you're in 2D, so the spring mushroom isn't that hard to control. In 3D, it can be quite annoying. This next galaxy is pretty fun, IMO. Most people see a beach level and they think, it's just slow and boring. Our Starshine Beach Galaxy is one of the more technical levels in any percent. There's a lot of really cool stunts here and there. And Starshine Beach 1, Starshine Beach Galaxy is one of the few open galaxies in this game. And there's just a lot of... And this star is the Silver Star mission, so the Silver Stars are of course placed all around the beach, and getting from one to the other is particularly interesting and also looks really cool. Although there is one tricky part of this, and that's an infinite flutter from where the first Silver Star is to the tower where the second Silver Star is, and the camera is kind of to blame for that one because it doesn't really give you a good perspective of where you should begin your flutter from. Yeah, in case you haven't figured it out, we get Yoshi for the star also. And he, unlike Super Mario Sunshine, doesn't dissolve once you go into water. So, wonder what happened to Yoshi in between Sunshine and Galaxy 2. Okay, I think this might be too far forward. No, I think this is good. Yeah, this is good. If you're too far forward there, you're gonna have to dismount off of Yoshi, and that can be pretty bad.
Oh yeah, I don't think we mentioned it, but in an infinite flutter, once you lose your momentum and you're like hovering in place, you can't move backwards at all. You can only move forward or sideways slowly.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Not exactly how I meant to get that dismount, but works out. So that's another one of those. I abuse Yoshi's momentum while on a steep slope. Going a few seconds out of the way to get the Comet Medal just because the Comet Star here is really, really fast, and so it kind of makes up for it. Camera. Yeah. Got any donations that are worth reading?
Sure. We have $50 from Final Fan 7 SE. It just has smiley face. We have $10 from Smith.com. Says, I have family in Houston. I've had anxiety all week. The fact that you guys decided to do a speedrun marathon to support them almost makes my anxiety go away. Thank you to the runners and donators. You make more of a difference than you realize. Usually I'd say kill the animals, but with what's been going on, we need to save all the animals we can.
Look, I know you're trying to support the cause and all, but I'm just shaking my head in disgust right now. I'm sorry. We want this marathon to be over sooner rather than later, don't we? I mean, I guess later is actually better because we can get more money that way. So Starshine Beach 2 is normally a very long and boring level that involves a whole ton of steps to get a cloud power up over to that tower over there and then use the clouds to climb up. But we're gonna use our friend Chuckster here to kind of launch us onto the very top cloud. I got it. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a 6-frame window to jump off a cloud if you don't have Cloud or B Mario?
I have no idea what the window is.
Because I think Yoshi Fan said in his AGDQ run that it's a 6-frame window, which is, in this game, which runs at 60 frames per second, is a 1/10 of a second. Yeah, it's a pretty lenient window, to be honest. Like, it sounds harder than it is. Like, really, the only difficult part is the timing of the spin actually has to be pretty late. Otherwise, you won't go far back enough. And also making sure you go at the right time. Otherwise, you'll just miss the cloud entirely. And typically, if you fail that, it's just going to snowball into more failures. Speaking of stars that can snowball into more failures, welcome to Chompworks Comet. This is another star.
Pause.
And
we just lost your video.
Okay. What, did video just die on stream or something?
Yeah.
Not sure what happened. I guess I can check if my internet's working all right.
Just give me a second to check it.
Let me know when it comes. Let me know when it comes back.
Is there motion on the screen that you're paused on? Because I have your pause screen.
I have it on the Wii home menu.
Can you like wiggle around your control or something? See if you're moving.
Wiggling it around. Can you see anything? This. Are you getting anything?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just do a countdown.
Yeah.
I guess. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Yeah. While we're on the subject of stars that can snowball into more failures, this is Chompworks' comment, where basically this star is about the cosmic clones and how annoying they are. Oh, I should probably start crawling. Yeah, this is a star where if one thing goes wrong, you're basically as good as dead because the cosmic clones make backtracking and getting a new chain chomp almost impossible. As we mentioned earlier, stuff like that, you don't really want it to happen. But this is also a level that's pretty easy to get an IL world record in because since this level is an auto-scroller, what's the frame perfect time? 51.2?
Let me look that up right now.
Also, I just golded that level by half a second, but that might be because I paused my timer.
Yeah, it's 51.20.
Yeah. So I got 0.95 off of that. Alright, so time for the best skip ever, IMO. So what I'm about to attempt here is a strat called behind... With this Bowser's Gravity Gauntlet, there's two different stars I'm going to get here. Both of them have a pretty unique skip I can attempt. The one I'm going to attempt for this star is called Behind the Castle. You want to explain Behind the Castle, Cantaloupe?
Yeah, so there's this 2D section in the castle, and he's going to go behind it. So in the area behind the castle, the floor is lava, and then towards the camera is the wall with the 2D section, and away from the camera is a drop-off where you fall down and die. If you get too close to the camera, then you hit this weird, like, death area where you get stuck in midair for a bit and then die. And if you go too far away, you just fall off the edge. So he's going to do a setup to try to get a certain distance away from the castle and then move to the right while bouncing on the lava.
I'm about to attempt it here. Ah, I was too far away. Yeah, that's what happens if you're too far away. I kind of held a little more upright than I would have liked to. I'm actually going to attempt the other skip now. I could just go through the level normally at this point. It wouldn't actually save time to attempt it behind the castle again. So I'm just going to go ahead and attempt this. So this is what I would have done on the other star. There we go. We'll count that as a success.
Yeah, that other skip he just did is what I like to call in front of the castle.
Yeah. I don't know how to describe it in terms of whether it's easier or harder. Because, like...
It's like more random.
Yeah, the inputs you have to do in the air are less complicated, but it can end in tragedy. Because sometimes you can land and you just fall through the floor anyways. And more often than not, when I miss it, it's because I just missed the platform entirely. So thankfully but I figured it out recently, and I'm able to hit it pretty consistently now. So all in all, that death probably cost me 40 seconds. Nothing I can't handle. So Bowser in Bowser's Gravity Gauntlet is slightly different than he is in Lava Lair, because he now has shockwaves that come out of his punches and the meteors when they land in the planet. And in this fight in particular, he also fires only 2 meteors instead of just 3. And I'm also going to actually attempt a punch cancel here. All right. So I waited a little bit on that meteor so that when Bowser began his punching animation, I could just fire the meteor at him and cancel the punch entirely. I actually don't know how much time that saves. You can probably fit in a few more donations if you like.
Alright. We have $10 from Otternuke. Says, I hadn't donated to Houston yet, even though I saw the news. Then Games Done Quick announced a marathon, and I thought...
That's not very good.
Then Games Done Quick announced a marathon, and I thought, what was I thinking? Thanks for motivating me, and hopefully many others, to donate to a great cause.
So Bowser just kind of punched out both meteors at once. Not really a whole lot I can do about that. Okay, and I just missed 2 hits on Gravity Gauntlet. That's cool. Okay, I'm actually gonna try to guide Bowser away from the meteor now. At least you get to hear more of the song, I guess.
And just a reminder, we do have an incentive to play Breath of the Wild in Master Mode, which is way more difficult than the default. That's at $4,817.11 out of $20,000. So if you want to see Master Mode, get those donations in.
So that could have gone better, but I mean, I guess I made it through all right. Something similar happened in my practice run earlier today. See, my PB got behind the castle, and then I died to a Goomba afterwards. So, I mean, I guess this isn't that much worse. But this is about on par with my run from a few hours ago. We're done with World 4 now. That was pretty solid aside from Gravity Gauntlet. Yeah, I lost like a minute and a half there. That's a marathon, can't really do much about that. Anything else you feel like reading?
Sure. We have $20 from French Toast. Great job to everyone for organizing this on such short notice. Donation to Host Choice. Once again, I'm going to put that towards naming Fusoya RPG Dead. We have $150 from, I'm going to say this horribly wrong, Shirasaya X says, thanks to everyone involved. Greetings from Austria.
Okay, so this is World 5, but we're not going to do anything in World 5 quite yet. We're actually going to go back to Worlds 2 and 1 and get some more comments and other stars that we couldn't get earlier, or that it would make sense to get them later. This star is interesting. You could technically do it earlier in the run, but it doesn't waste or save any world map movement to do it later in the run like this. So it's just, you people just kind of do it. And yeah, in terms of differences between this and the normal star, there's holes in the ground, which aren't a huge issue. There's meteors falling, which for the most part won't get in your way. And the ending of the star is actually going to be different than the first star because I don't need the Comet Medal anymore. I just did that. Okay. We can probably read some more donations. There's not really a whole lot to talk about here. Like maybe
All
one
right.
or two more.
All right, we have $7 from Joseph's. Simply says, "Keep it up, bros." We have $30 from Sarah Griff. "My brother and his family live very close to Houston. Luckily, they're okay, but so many were not that fortunate. I'm so impressed with the GDQ folks who put together this so fast. Every volunteer, all runners, and everyone donating. And always, save the animals." And put a winky face.
Okay, that could have ended way worse. So what I'm trying to do here is jump at the very edge of this slope, and there we go. Okay. I forgot the backup strat JDA told me to do, which just spin at the very peak of Yoshi's jump so that I can go backwards. Well, luckily I was able to recover that. Alright. Time for the most RNG heavy star in SMG2 any percent. This star can go a variety of different ways, and it almost never goes the same way twice. In fact, I don't think it ever does. Yeah, you have to kill all those crabbers, and their movement, as far as we're concerned, is pretty much RNG.
Cometless is a good category, pretty much only because you don't have to do this star.
Nice meme. Yeah, Cantaloupe used to hold the Cometless world record. So yeah, for like the first 20 or so of them, you kind of have to hope that they just kind of group up in convenient ways that you can get them quickly. And then you can just kind of start focusing on individual ones. And the blue crabbers are the worst because they move the most erratically. And the game doesn't tell you can cancel out a rock form, and sometimes it's not even possible for whatever stupid reason. Okay, that didn't go too badly. Just gonna use Rock Mario to get the star. So I know I've been talking all this junk about killing the animals and all, but unfortunately for this next star, I'm gonna have to save one. Hopefully. So... Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this earlier. You actually need 5,000 star bits in order to unlock all the Hungry Luma Galaxy unlocked, but 150 of them are going to come from Mail Toad letters. So that's kind of how that all works out. Anyways, now we get to hopefully not kill any Goombas. And also, I can do the boardable one skip with that rock mushroom now. And I can show you how free it is. You don't even need to set it up. Okay, now we get to the hard part. This Goomba will do whatever it wants to do. Okay, that should be good. If it isn't, I will be sad. Okay. Somehow it's possible to get this cutscene to kind of soft lock, like where it just doesn't advance forward in the cutscenes and you have to reset. I don't know. It has something to do with like either the Goomba jumping or you taking damage right before the cutscene activates. I'm not sure. But I've never had it happen to me. That's a pretty short and sweet star. But you only get 2 Goombas, and if both of them die, then you have to redo the star. So, kind of important that you keep at least one of them alive. And we just saved a creature. Now we get to go back to killing them. We get to visit our friend Gobblegut again. Hopefully, I'll do a better job this time, but this guy is a tough one, so I don't know.
You should have made the incentive Fiery Gobblegut instead of Perfect Run.
Nice joke. Yeah, Fiery Gobblegut is the guy in Battlebout where we will not be going and we will not be fighting him because he sucks and there's no real consistent way to do him fast, especially as Mario. Let's see if I can actually pull this off correctly this time. Alright, that's a perfect Gobblegut right there. That's pretty tough to get, so glad I was able to pull that off. Definitely makes up for the Gobblegut I had earlier. Okay, that didn't make up for it. So now we're done with Worlds 1 and 2 for the rest of the run, and we're going to finally go to World 5 and get started on that. We're not going to be getting too many stars from World 5, but the ones we are going to be getting are... Some of them are pretty interesting. Up first, we have these Space Storm levels. Don't really have a whole lot to say about Space Storm 1. It's just... I feel like this star kind of speaks for itself. I don't exactly remember anything particular about it.
Well, while we're doing that, I can bring to everyone's attention that the Houston Food Bank is actually looking to have items donated directly to them. So if you're in the area and you have something you can spare, you can drop it off curbside at 535 Port Wall now through Saturday, September 9th. The times that you can drop those off are 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, or 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. The things they're really looking out for are canned ready-to-eat items with pull tops, such as vegetables and fruit, protein in pouches or pull top cans, such as tuna, beef stew, chili, and canned chicken. They're looking for peanut butter. They're looking for snacks, granola bars and breakfast bars, and so on. Toiletries, paper goods, diapers, and cleaning supplies, so mops, mop buckets, brooms, bleach wipes, bleach, garbage bags, and bug spray. So if you have any of that and you can drop that off, they'd greatly appreciate it.
Oh hey, Polestars. One thing you'll learn about me very quickly once I start taking the Galaxy games a little bit more seriously, I have an intense dislike of Polestars. And it shows. Okay. Yeah, that star is rather difficult to do optimally, especially that second planet with all the moving platforms. It's very easy to accidentally get one jump incorrect, and then you get shocked, and then your whole cycles get thrown off. And from there on out, it just becomes an absolute nightmare to manage everything. So thankfully, we won't have to deal with that. And that last star took a really long time. Now we're on to Space Storm 2, which is actually based off of Buoy-based Galaxy from the original Super Mario Galaxy, and even has the same music. But this is kind of the abridged version, if you must. Although, it's a satisfying level to pull off optimally, but it's also rather difficult. There's a lot can go wrong in a matter of 30 seconds. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, in this level, there are switches you're supposed to hit to slow down the cycles, but hopefully he's going to be able to do it without hitting any of those switches.
Okay, so I kind of messed up there, but I can back it up. Yeah, what I meant to do was do a wall jump onto one of those moving platforms and then land on the lower ledge and then triple jump up to the star, but that method works as well. And it's only 4 seconds slower. So now we're done with Space Storm. And we'll be moving on to the rest of the World 5 galaxies. We will not be doing Flip Sand, that galaxy sucks. And we will also not be doing Fleet Glide because that is a Fluzzard level and Fluzzard levels are slow. However, we will be doing Shiverburn Secret next, so this is yet another chimp challenge that is dependent on points. So this time, guess the value from any number between 600 and 900 in multiples of 10, and see who gets closest, I guess.
Once again, I'm going with 900.
Cantaloupe?
790.
That's good. Okay, no. I have a strat where I only use 2 clouds and I don't need to use a third, but I messed it up. Alright, so let's see how this goes. I'm gonna call down left. Oh, okay. I was wrong. Aw. You're 10 away, Cantaloupe.
Oh, if you didn't get hit at the end there.
Yeah.
Dang.
Sorry, bud. Maybe next time. Alright. It's 2:25 a.m. where I live, and I'm not even that tired. Okay, so next is Shiverburn 1. The star has a few tricks up its sleeve. It's got a lot of neat strats to it. A lot of them have been updated over the past couple of years or so. This first skip, I don't exactly remember who found this exact method of doing this, but this skip was actually found by Tollful 31, if you would believe it. Okay, this is... Yeah, it's a little... You have to be very precise with your long jumps there, otherwise if you're too low, you just die. This method of doing the skip is rather difficult. Already, this is looking much better. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make it. Now on this next area, I'm gonna use a lava boost to skip some of the little... Basically, normally the game wants you to fire coconuts back at these guys. I am probably too early. Yeah, I thought so. I went a little early there.
you mind if I make a quick announcement?
Sure.
Alright, so we are going to have a substitution for a run that's happening in about 5 hours. A Super Time Force Ultra runner had to drop, and so now instead we're going to substitute a Mega Man 6 race with Dark Teryx and Chelny. So it's going to be around the same time, and the run is about the same length, so stay tuned for that. It's gonna be a pretty great race, so hang in there.
Okay, so for this boss, I'm actually not going to use traditional strats you see most runs. I'm going to be using pretty no RNG strat, that first coconut intentionally, and I packed with this one late. And this kind of puts the boss into a phase where, basically, if the boss ends up on the other side of the battlefield from where we are currently, on the second or third phases, then it will do this upward spiraling attack that can be used to make the fight drastically faster, but it's very random, whereas is pretty safe and doesn't involve RNG.
I've never seen those strats before. How much does it lose to like good RNG with the other method?
I've gotten I think I've gotten a 151 with RNG strats and a 158 without them. So
That sounds like I should start going for your strats.
because it just snowballs if you make one small mistake. This should be the last male toad starbit letter. Okay. Up next is the sequel level to Right Side Down, and that's going to be Upside Dizzy. I might slop around in this level a little bit. This isn't a level I normally practice, so I apologize if I kind of stumble throughout it, because I can do the beginning section, especially for Upside Dizzy 1, rather consistently. It's just the ending hallway for Upside Dizzy 1 that kind of throws me off. But anyways, this level's fun. How much money will you sub to me if I get this Goomba bounce? Okay, assuming that doesn't happen. Okay, I'm actually just gonna wait for the Goomba to come down so I can go for it again. Got it. Yeah, I'm pretty much guaranteed to get hit by that. Beam.
When you spin for the comet medal, are you holding A for that spin? Because I usually,
yeah.
Yeah, I do it without holding A, so I can get like a shorter spin.
I might have to start doing that. I guess aside from missing the initial Goomba bounce, that went pretty well. Once you get like a majority of the way into the run, you start losing things you can talk about. I mean, now I'm gonna do Upside Dizzy Secret, which is kind of, sort of the same concept as the Right Side Down Secret Star, just a little bit slower but easier because the boxes are more condensed and you don't have as many awkward angles to throw them at.
Yeah, on the first one, you'd have to throw a lot of fireballs diagonally, but on this one, it's mostly like north, south, east, west angles.
A little bit of trouble talking to that guy. Reminder that the fireballs will always come out of Mario's right here. Is an 8 what you typically get on the clock, or no?
An 8?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think I usually get 9, actually.
I probably could have gotten a 9, but I had to make a couple extra shots. So now that level of Galaxy is done with, and it's off to Boo Moon, which is another spooky level. See, in the engine room, you can't actually collect these power-ups. You can only just look at them, and I guess you have bragging rights because you have them. I don't know. Like, what's the purpose of having power-ups available to you if you can't use them? That's not the level I want to go to. So, Boo Moon, the secret star and the first star, which are the stars I'm going to be doing here, are essentially our auto-scrollers. You could probably spend the next minute or so reading donations if you want.
All right. We have $100 from Miku Deyo. It says, hoping this donation can help some people out. We have an anonymous $10 donation. You guys rock! This sort of thing brings me to tears to see the video game nation helping my hometown of Houston. We have $40 from Jamal Arm. Greetings from the UK. Mad respect for putting this together at such a bafflingly short notice. Good luck to all the runners. Money to runner's choice.
I want those animals dead. Nice, I got all of the music notes. That doesn't normally. So I'm gonna do a tiny little skip here so that cuts out pretty much all of this last snake block platform. Where I just long jump to the star. It actually makes that part a little easier because otherwise you have to deal with those annoying octobus, and they're like the second worst enemies in this game. The first being the Octumbos. And this is one of a few comets that we're going to unlock, but we're actually not going to get. I believe there's 4 of those in this run. There's Flip Swap, Fearsome Fleet, Supermassive, and there's one other I just can't think of it.
Did you say Spin Dig? Because that's one.
No, you don't get Spin Dig 2, so you can't unlock it.
Oh, right, okay.
Lava Layer, that's it. I was thinking of that. Alright, so now we're going to do Boo Moon 1. This star actually didn't used to be in the any percent route, but Nemi, I believe, discovered a skip on this star that made this star faster than the supermassive secret star. Or at least, I think it was made faster. And now it's just kind of the universal route. So what you're about to see here might confuse you, but trust me, it all makes sense. Yeah, that kind of just happened. So basically what I did there was I activated the gravity field of the tilted area, I guess you could call it. And then I used that gravity to sort of long jump straight towards the launch star. Decent portion of the auto-score. So that saves quite a bit of time. And the reason why the star wasn't originally considered for any percent after that skip was found was because there is a mail toad letter that will spawn as a result of this. That's not a huge issue anymore. Something just popped up that I didn't want to pop up, so now I have to get rid of it. There you go. It's gone now. Okay, so this is another rainbow star. You might be wondering whether it's faster to skate or run with the rainbow star, and the answer is neither. They're both about the same, but it's easier to turn while running. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to skate to build up momentum and then just start running. Also, I got the jump cancel, therefore I'm automatically obligated to go for a gold here. And I'm gonna get one. That star is pretty self-explanatory. I did kind of go for a little bit risky by getting every single one of the Octumbos without having to get more than one rainbow star. Although it doesn't waste that much time to swerve out of the way just to get an extra one. But I want to play it risky. Okay, so now we're off to Bowser Jr.'s Boom Bunker. If I can name a Bowser Jr. level that I can hold a grudge against, this is it. Because this level has one thing about Galaxy games that I just absolutely despise, and that's cannon shots. I'm not a huge fan of motion controls in any game, and thankfully Galaxy 2 Any Percent doesn't really have any motion controlled levels, except for this. And this doesn't even really count, so... The two cannon shots I have to do here are rather precise, and missing them will likely lead to death. So, this first one in particular is really scary. Oh my god. Okay, that doesn't lose any time. So I'm gonna aim right at this Boomerang Bro's face. I'm gonna take him out. The second cannon shot here isn't nearly as annoying, but it can still lead to bad things if messed up. Typically, you want to aim around where the cloud flower is and wait until the platform just goes past the cloud flower. This is a pretty good Boom Bunker so far, but I say that as I'm about to fight Boomsday, and this guy is notorious for either making you or itself look like a complete joke. So hopefully it's the latter option here. Quite easy to make a small mistake and end up losing a lot of time. Alright, in this second phase, if I don't do this perfectly, I'm gonna be losing a lot of time. Oh god, no. Yeah, that's not very good. Okay, I did not want that to happen. Okay. Gonna have to accept that, I guess. Not gonna lie, that kind of sucks. I was actually happy with how this World 5 was going. Yes. No, it's not. Thankfully, I can skip the cutscenes since I've already seen them. There we go. This is still a sub 230 world 5. This would have been a 228. If it weren't for that. According to my sum of best, I can still 308 this run, but just barely. I can lose 3 seconds and still do it. Alright, so that was kind of annoying, but again, something you have to live with. And that's actually... I actually haven't died to that star before, so... I haven't died to Boomsday before, especially not in a run. So that's... embarrassing. Alright. World 6. The final stretch. And obviously the longest world of the run. I think this world has the most stars you do. I don't actually know for sure.
Yeah, World 6 is the segment with the most stars in it.
15, I think, it looks like, judging from the math. And we start off with probably one of the most annoying stars of it, and that's Melty Monster 1. I do not like this star. It's just so easy for one little thing to go wrong, and this is another level that revolves around a global cycle. In this case, it's the tornadoes midway through the stage, and you basically have to play perfectly in the first 2 sections to make the cycle. And also, the optimal route through this level doesn't get any checkpoints, and this is a pretty lava-themed level, so obviously you're expecting to take damage at some point. Okay, so I got past that part alright. If you want to read a donation or two, you could probably do one here. Oh god, I did not get that.
Alright. We have an anonymous $7.80 donation. It says, for that great chimp minigame. We have $20 from Banana Naki. We'll have to catch the VOD since I work all weekend, but good job organizing this so quickly. Hang in there, Houston.
I think I'm gonna barely make this. So yeah, you can make that okay, yeah, you can skip this tornado if you make the tornado cycle just a little bit earlier, but the way I did it didn't really lose that much time. So here's a long jump I'm gonna go for that I'm not gonna get because I suck at it. Yeah, I didn't really get it. You can actually land on this planet right here. These magmas are like the most annoying enemies known to man. Yeah. Okay, I'm going back. Not taking any chances. Yeah, those planets, each of them has their own gravity, and they all affect you in a different way, so you're gonna get pulled and pushed by all of them randomly. Got a couple donations you can read.
Alright, we have $25 from Kono Rican. As I watch this impromptu stream, a line from a book comes to mind. It goes as follows. Take the universe and grind it into the finest powder, and sieve it through the finest sieve, and then show me one atom of justice, one molecule of mercy. Until such time as we might do this, I'll hold this event as great proof that mercy exists. While mainstream media focuses on the hate in the world, events like this show how much more powerful all the good is. Also, if anyone can name where that quote is from, I'll donate another $50. That is from one of the Discworld books, I think. I think it's Hogfather? I believe that's it.
Alright, so now I'm gonna do another chimp minigame, but this one isn't nearly as interesting to guess. I mean, you have to get... The maximum score you can get is 5,600, and the maximum... And the amount of pins you need at least is 5,000. For the most part, this is pretty straightforward, but there's a strat I could go for, but I'm not going to because it sucks. And you want to explain it, Cantaloupe?
You're talking about the double rock jump thing?
Yeah, talking about the ramp skip.
There's this glitch where if you jump with the while rolling and you spin and do something else a certain way, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but you can jump again while in midair with the rock power up while spinning and get a little extra height. So if you do that between each of the ramps, you can skip the ramp and just like keep rolling without like breaking the rock power up between each one.
And you also need to do a jump spin onto the ramp to deactivate it, and then jump at the very tip of the ramp. But it's something that is technically RTA viable and has been hit and runs before, but it's not something you should reasonably go for. It's really stupid.
And there's actually a strat. It's pretty much only a task strat, but recently someone actually got it non-task, apparently, in Freezy Flake 2, where you need to do 11 of those in a row, like in midair, to get to the planet at the end. And if you do that, then it's actually short enough to be in any percent.
But
so, yeah.
it's not viable at all. And this is a level all about Rock Mario. This level is kind of an auto-scroller because once you go on a ramp, you can't really stop and your speed is sort of fixed. So, until you die, really. Okay, that's a mid-air rock jump that I just pulled off. I just kind of did it for funsies there. Oh yeah, this is a level you can grind star bits in if you ever need to, for any reason. That strat that's another one of those strats that just looks scarier than it is. That zigzag skip I did there. It actually is really easy once you know how to do it.
I actually completely disagree. It's the scariest strat in the game.
Well, then you clearly haven't done it enough, OP.
Like, I can be 100% consistent at it in practice, but if I get there on good pace, I'm guaranteed to fail it.
So, Clockwork Ruins, I'm going to be getting the Secret Star here, which involves collecting 30 coins and feeding them to a Hungry Luma, and it does take a little while, but thankfully once you're done with that, the star is basically done. And, I'm going to be using kind of an inferior route, but it's pretty fast. And if anything, I only need to get one spare coin from the third set of gears here. Okay, so right here I'm going to look in first person mode for a little bit, just to kind of advance the cycles of the platform up ahead. I need to get one unclear coin from these. Which is actually the goal of this route. So that might have taken a while, but thankfully there's a pretty big skip I can do on the next planet where I just do a triple jump wall kick up to the star platform. It's not even that hard. Just do that. That's a kind of challenging start to pick up and really get down, but once you get it down, it's not really, you can do it pretty consistently, like I just did. Alright, so this level might seem familiar to you guys. Hey, look! We're gonna be playing Super Mario 64 now, so I get to be doing my best Chizo 5 impersonation.
Are you going to reset in Wumps?
Hopefully not. Yeah, that feeling when you're 2 hours and 40 minutes into the run and you're still in Whomp's Fortress. So yeah, this is Whomp's Fortress from Super Mario 64. Basically, the common medal that I'm about to go for is actually where a star once was in the original SN64. So that's kind of a nice little reference there. Okay, I have bad memories of this level, so I'm actually going to grab the checkpoint here. Because I'm not making this mistake again. So this is the King Womp rematch. He actually has the same dialogue as he does in SN64. Which is kind of a neat reference. So this boss isn't that hard, but I died to it twice in a relay race when I was on 305 pace. So you really don't want to get hit by those little wimp guys, and you really don't want his stomping to stun you, because then you just...
Oh yeah, just like in Super Mario 64, getting crushed in this game deals 3 damage, but unfortunately in this game you only have 3 health. So it'll kill you.
I completely lost him. Viper?
Oh yeah, it's frozen for me too.
Well, hopefully he'll come back shortly, because it looks like we lost him on Discord too. Well, you got any donations, Lindsay?
Yeah, we can do that. Sorry about that. Viper seems to be having some technical issues, but we have some donations and some various fun things to read, so we can do that until he comes back. We have $50 from Kono Rican. Says, yes, the line was from the Hogfather. So as promised, here's the extra $50 to the donation reader's choice for getting that so quickly. Nice. I'm going to further put that towards Fusoya being named RPG Dead. We have an anonymous $50 donation. Says, you guys are amazing. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. We have $5 from Mario Man. I think it's awesome that you guys were able to put together this event so quickly. Keep up the good work, GDQ, and good luck to all the runners. We have $10 from Cypher Ace. It's awesome to see this put together so fast. I'm in Houston, and while I was lucky, my city is hurting. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for your donation. We have an anonymous $25 donation. You guys are amazing. Keep up doing what you're doing. And here's to another successful GDQ. We have an anonymous $50 donation. It says, for that great chimp minigame.
Well, he's just messaging us on Discord. I assume through his phone, because he is telling us that his internet just went out, and he is going to need to completely restart his router and everything to get it back up. So, given the amount of time that would add to his run with the delays we've already had, he is going to step out and let us move on to the next game. Because he doesn't want to add too much time to the schedule.
Since the incentive for perfect run got met, I could do the perfect run as a backup runner.
Sure. Do you have the information to connect to the thing?
Yeah, I already have it set up in OBS.
Okay. Alright, I see you. One second, guys. We're gonna go to break screen while I get his stream up. So, just keep filling time if you've got donations.
We have a $20 donation from Pumpkin. Seeing so many people giving so much so quickly really has me and my family thinking that there are more good people than bad. Love what GDQ does. You guys are the best. And while we're here, I would like to announce a small change up here. Unfortunately, Viper is having some technical issues with his internet. So since the Perfect Run donation incentive did get met, How to Cantaloupe is actually going to do the Perfect Run. So you're still going to get to see that. Unfortunately, the time that it would add to fix the internet issues, assuming they would get fixed at all, means that the Mario Galaxy 2 run is going to end right here. But we are going to get that donation incentive. They're working right now to get that set up. So just hang tight, and we'll get there. By the way, all these donations are going straight to the Houston Food Bank. They are a member of Feeding America, and they were the Food Bank of the Year in 2015. They're going to provide food and supplies in the short term and for many months to come to the residents of Southeast Texas who will still struggle to rebuild their lives in the wake of, Harvey. The food bank will work closely with a network of partner agencies to ensure that food is getting to the people who need it the most. And they're also going to find ways to connect people who want to help to the people who need help. So that's pretty good. All your money is going to go to help making that happen. You can also volunteer time if you're in the area. If you have time but no money, you can volunteer on their calendar at houstonfoodbank.org. Scroll down and look at the spotlight. They're going to need some assistance for quite a few months to come, so if you can help out, then they greatly appreciate it.
Alright, I'll be ready to switch over shortly. Are you ready, Cantaloupe?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Alright, I'm ready.
All right. So this is a perfect run. This is the level you unlock after getting every other star in the game, every comet medal in the game, and putting 9,999 star bits in Bank Toad. The first level you have to do is this level, but you have 3 health and there's checkpoints, and then you have to do it with only 1 health and no checkpoints. So I might die. So yeah, on that, sorry, I just realized I should be giving commentary. Yeah, on that first section, I just infinite flutter under everything. Skip a lot of the flower section thing. And then on that second planet, it's just rain around, hitting all the switches. Most of this level is kind of easy, and then it's the last couple sections that are the hard part. Oh, that's bad. Okay, it's fine. No, it's not. Okay, that's the first death. That's supposed to be an easy section, but I messed up.
As long as you beat my time of like 10 hours, I think we'll be good.
Alright. Alright, it's fine. That was an early death. So there's actually 1 star bit at the very beginning of this level, and then no star bits for the rest. So you can see I have 3 star bits now. That means I died twice. And I'm actually keeping those star bits for a strat on the last planet. I'm going to shoot them at a Hammer Bro, so he doesn't bother me. Okay, this section is definitely one of the ones that's a lot harder when you only have 1 health. A lot of the other sections before it, like, you can, if you hit, you die anyway. But in this section, when you have more health, you can be hit and survived, but not when you only have 1. And this area is normally pretty hard, but with these strats, it's actually a lot easier since you can just go over everything. You press Z to drop out of the pole star, and then get pulled back up and just go over things. And now here's the last section. This is the hard one. I have to kill 3 boomerang bros at the very end there, while all these hammer bros also throw hammers at me. All right, and there we go.
Nice.
Yeah, ducking under the boomerangs is a really good strat in that level. It's just if you're crouching, you can't get hit by boomerangs, but you can still definitely get hit by the hammers.
Well, thank you so much for filling in and doing that for us. The chat, if you can give How to Cantaloupe some clappas, and also give Super Viper some clappas when he comes back and sees the VOD, so you can see all the great support. Thanks to both of you for coming out here and doing this for us.